So I have been bleaching my own hair for quite a while. I have done it multiple times. As a matter of fact, I have a video on how you lift your hair from black to really light blonde, and I'll link that in the cards. I decided that I wanted to lift the color of my locks. So at month 8, that's exactly what I did. So here was my experience. I did not record because once again, I have already done a video on how I lift my hair up to 10 shades lighter. And so I just thought it was business as usual. I went on to apply my product in stages. I worked from back to front as per usual. Then I put on my shower cap and waited the allotted time. As I went back to check, because you really should check on the process to see if it's as light as you want, whether you need to keep it in a little longer, so forth and so on. So I'm lifting the cap from off my hair and oh my goodness, my locks themselves were the color that you see here, the type of ginger color, but the roots had started to go really blonde. That was not the look I was going for. So I immediately washed the product out. Right, so here I am washing out the product. I do the usual, I'm shampooing, washing vigorously, and then I come back to the bathroom to look in the mirror at how everything looked after I rinsed it out. Listen, there was so much of the remnant of the product caught within the strand of the hair. If you're familiar with bleaching products, there's a grittiness in the product, like a type of powder at the base. Now I was using a liquid form, there's still a grittiness to it. All of the grit was stuck within the crevices of the lock itself. I really legitimately started to panic. I did not know what to do because it was all over my lock, and by this time my lock was lighter and you can see all of the specks of white in between. I am straight up trying to figure out what am I gonna do. So I go to wash it a third time. I washed it vigorously. And at this point my locks were just 8 months in and they were short, and I knew that I was going to lose half of the locks in terms of them slipping out because they had not set as yet. But this was the last thing on my mind. I would deal with that after. I just need to get this product in my hair, because the last thing you want stuck in your hair is the remnant of bleach. Like you're asking to lose your whole head, like you're just asking for it. So I washed this a second time, came back. Would you believe that there is still remnant of this product stuck between the strand of my hair? I had to do this a third time to finally get this thing out of my hair. I'm calm enough to now assess the damage. Half of the locks along the sides were just like fuzz. They were just like loose hair at this point in time, as well as the back. Not only that, the base of my lock were so light that I knew for the first time I'm actually going to have to tone, because this was not the look I was going for. This is not how I want to be walking around. So once again, I have to process my hair with a toner. I go through this process, I tone it. It helped a tad bit. Then I have to go through this process again of having to wash my hair twice to get the remnants of the product from the length of my locks. By this time, whatever locks were left at the side were basically gone. I I really I just thought this is it for me. My lock journey is over. I cannot go through having to redo all these locks. Anyway, you realize I have locks now, so I brought myself together because that weekend I had an outing with my husband. What did I learn from that experience? Well, now I'm able to make a comparison between the darker locks and the lighter locks in terms of how my hair responds versus how it is when it's uncolored and in its natural state. So let me come a little closer. What I have learned is that comparatively, when it comes to darker color locks, they reflect light a lot better than lighter locks. So the darker sections of my hair tend to look shinier, and shine is equal to the look of health. If a hair looks shiny, it looks healthy. So I don't know if you can see, but it just reflects light a lot better. It looks shinier. Hopefully you can see. It looks shinier than the sections that are bleached. Not only that, darker hair tends to show up lint a lot easier than the lighter hair. And lint for locks is like your enemy. I to just see a ball of like lint that you picked up from a pillow or something hanging off your hair, it's a lot easier to spot it, which is a pro and a con because then if lint is on your hair, you see it clearly. But it also helps you to be able to pick them out so they're not stuck in your hair. On the flip side of that, lighter hair tends to look fuzzier than the darker sections. Let me show you what I mean. Like this end looks really fuzzy, but in reality, it's just as fuzzy as the darker section of my hair. But you can't really see that as it's laying on my head. You can't really see the fuzziness. What I did not consider, and it seems like something that makes total sense, it seems like common sense looking back, but I didn't consider that loose hair will lighten a lot faster than locked hair. I know, it's elementary, but it really did not cross my mind at the time. So, of course, my dogs are barking. If you watch my videos before, you know this happens regularly. So, when it comes to locked hair, V and I interlock. So you have these tightly packed knots along the strand. That's what interlocking really is. And so the product has to penetrate these tightly packed knots versus at the root where the hair is pretty much loose. It's loose, so the product is going to penetrate. So it's probably better to color along the strand first and leave the roots for last. It's probably going to work out better. Trust me on this. You don't want to make the same mistake. The other thing is, if your locks are baby locks, like if you've just started locking your hair and you want to lighten it, it's probably not a good idea. So that was my experience lightening my locks early in the game at 8 months. So hopefully, if this is your first time doing it, you are helped in some way. You don't become traumatized like I was at that experience, and you're able to have a great experience in terms of which way you decide to go, whether to bleach or not to bleach. Having said all that, I plan to bleach my hair again. So stay tuned for that.